We arrived at about 7 o'clock in the morning at Kahului Airport for our flight to Molokai. We would be taking a commuter flight on Mokulele Airlines. Mokulele is Hawaiian for island hopping. It took us a while to find the terminal as it was not next to the normal terminal people would take on Maui. The terminal was about a quarter of a mile away from the main terminal. We were flying on a Cessna 208EX Grand Caravan plane. This plane only seated 9 passengers. They canceled our 9 o'clock flight and at 8 o'clock let us board on a different flight, which only had 1 other passenger. Every seat was a window seat. We had excellent views looking out at the scenery. Here is a view of Kahului Bay shortly after taking off. Here are some views of the north side of West Maui. Here is a view looking towards Hakuhi Point and Wailina Gulch. This is another view of Wailina Gulch. This is a view of the Kahakuloa Game Management Area. After crossing the Pailolo Channel, we found ourselves looking at the coast of Molokai. The first thing we saw was the Kanahe Rock Islet Seabird Sanctuary off the eastern coast of Molokai. This is Kehahi, the easternmost part of Molokai. Here we see Halawa Park and Halawa Bay. We then started flying across the northern coast of Molokai. Molokai developed from 2 distinct shield volcanoes known as East Molokai and the much smaller West Molokai. Today, East Molokai volcano is what remains of the southern half of the original mountains. The northern half suffered a catastrophic collapse about 1.5 million years ago and now lies as a debris field scattered northward across the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. What remains of the volcano on the island includes the highest sea cliffs in the world. The eastern half of the island is a high plateau rising up to an elevation of 4,900 feet on Kamakuo Peak and includes the 2,774 acres Molokai Forest Reserve. This land is covered with lush, wet forests and get more than 300 inches of rain per year. We then flew by the north-central part of the eastern end of Molokai. In this photograph, just under the tip of the wing, you can see Pu'uka Oku Falls, the 8th tallest waterfall in the world at 2,756 feet. The collapse of the volcano 1.5 million years ago generated a mega tsunami. It reached a height of 2,000 feet near its origin and eventually reached both California and Mexico. In this photograph, you can see the Mokapu Island seabird sanctuary as well as Ocala Island. Here you can see Ocala Island, Lenaopapayu Point, and Waikuolu Valley. We next passed by the Kalaupapa Peninsula, site of the 19th century leper colony. In 1866, during the reign of Kamehameha V, the Hawaiian legislature passed a law that resulted in the designation of Molokai as the site for the leper colony. This remained in effect until the law was repealed in 1969. Today, about 4 people who formerly had Hansen syndrome continue to live there. The colony is now included within Kalaupapa National Historic Park, which is run by the National Park Service. Tours via mule trail are no longer available due to a collapse, and now one can only get to the peninsula by boat or plane. We now approach Molokai Airport via the low western half. It's very dry and the soil is heavily denuded due to poor land management practices, which allowed overgrazing by deer and goats. It lacks significant ground cover, and virtually the entire section is covered with non-native kiawe trees. As we make our final approach to Molokai Airport, we go over Kulua Gulch. Next on the approach is Kamakahi Gulch. Here is roughly the location of the next photo. And here are the final photos before we came to a landing. And here is our plane safely landed in Molokai.